All right, it's a new week. Let's get this podcast up and rolling. I got an SD card. I got all of the other SD cards. I got I got backup microphones. I got my actual microphones, okay? Camera, extra camera, another camera after that. This camera's on a tripod. And guess what? I got another tripod just in case this one fucking breaks. I say all that to say, guys. It's a new week. I will not quit. In this week's podcast, we are going back downtown to record. Let's go.
You're listening to the Positivity Hour podcast, hosted by Darshaun Smith. Strap in and buckle up, and let's get straight into it.
Whew. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the MFN podcast, okay? We are out here in downtown Cedar Rapids, Iowa, successfully recording. I didn't take a knee and goose poop. I didn't forget my microphones. I didn't forget batteries. I didn't forget the script. I didn't forget anything. We are prepared and we are ready to talk about the big things. In today's episode, I want to recap how this last week of my life has been, being that last week I was crashing out, quite literally and figuratively, and because I was so burnt out. And I want to tell you what happened, why I feel better about everything, and what did I actually do to change my circumstances and situation. And most importantly, above all else, I also want to today's episode, the main topic of today's episode would be how to find the positive things, positive aspects, positive, insights, whatever buzzword you want to say in life so you can stay sane in these crazy times or whatever. So yeah, that's your intro. Downtown, my seat is set up. I'm going to crack my diet green tea that has 2 grams of sugar. It's a beautiful thing, ladies and gentlemen. We got to be quick though. They say it's about to snow or something. It's crazy. It's April 19th. But yeah, the intro's already played, so let's just keep it rolling.
Time capsule.
Time capsule, I think I was not doing. I said I didn't forget my script. What I meant to say is I brought the script, but it's still in my camera bag by the camera. So yeah, I'm going off the script and I'm going to add a time capsule. What a time to be alive. Like, ladies and gentlemen, it is April 19th. Some parts of the country are really cold. Some parts of the country are really warm. Some parts of the country are experiencing, high prices. And some parts of the countries are, is just doing all right. The world is at war and at peace all at the same time. We're living in a very complex era in which people are looking out for themselves, but that has been true since the dawn of human time. Hold on, I hear this real quick. Satisfying. Green tea. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So outside of that, to update you on something we talked about last week, I think, or the week prior in the time capsule, we were talking about the Strait of Hormuz and the U.S.'s impromptu war with Iran. And yeah, they actually came to a ceasefire agreement like 2 times or 3 times actually this last week. But subsequently, someone broke it, so that's kind of interesting. And yeah, it's closed again, but they let a few ships through because, we need some oil, but then they bombed another ship. And it's all over the place. So I don't think that's going to be ending anytime soon. I think they're doing that on purpose, the people in power, because they want it their way or the highway. Not knowing that, like I was saying earlier, that's the reason I said all of that, how some people experience this and other people experience that. We may think we're different, but we are literally the same people on this earth, the same human race. But we live in a world where we are connected more than ever. with one another. You know, the product I make here is being distributed to people on the continent of Africa, and the product that they make in Western Asia is something that I'm putting in my gas tank in North America. You know, we need each other and what we all produce, and we can find workarounds. Obviously, we can find ways to, you know, mend these relationships and or just create new ones, form new bonds and partnerships. But you know, I really wish and hope that the people in power, because I'm just a guy with a camera and a microphone and a Arizona green tea, you know. Also, still says on the can, 99 cents. I got this from Walmart, 88 cents. It's a beautiful thing. And yeah, we need each other, but yeah, man, it's just gonna take some time. I'm just a man with the camera, and I hope the people who actually have some power and some say-so in this situation can really come to a solution sooner rather than later, so that we can start working on more relevant and more progressive, you know, ways of thinking, you know, ways of preserving our planet and making sure that we can be multiplanetary or something along those lines, because we're going to die on this rock if we keep it up how we're going right now. So yeah, time capsule over. Let's get to the main topic. Now that we're in the main topic, I finally realized how out of order this was. I was going to do the let's get personal before the main topic to give you the like breakdown on like how my life has been, you know, being burnt out, and now I'm not burnt out. But yeah, we're just going to go back to the normal format. So I'm going to give you the positive stuff first, and then we're going to do the like last week recap. So positive stuff first, okay? I've found the most success in life in thinking about positive aspects of the world, okay? Whether it's how the grass is green or how the sun is so bright it is shining through the clouds right now, okay? It's the fact that you can't see it, but there's some blue skies over there. The river is pretty high, which means it's been raining, and the snow's melting and it's flowing downstream. You know, whatever it may be. It could be like I was just talking about the war in the Middle East, the war in, you know, Eastern Europe with Russia's invasion of the Ukraine. You know, it could be, you know, just thinking about history and the Revolutionary War between the United Kingdom and the United States of America. I say all of that to say that it sounds very cliche and it sounds like, oh, it's like that's what everybody says. But that is the truth of the matter. It all starts with your mindset, like wanting to see the bright things, wanting to see the positive aspects, wanting to be a part of, you know, positive change and ideology is all in the brain, and how you define it and how you most importantly choose to see the world. You know, last week, even though I was crashing out literally and figuratively, and I was going through it and, you know, really just not having a good go at it, you know, I understood deep down that it's like, damn, like it's a privilege that like I have so many resources to where like I could forget this and then bring it up in a video. Like I'm frustrated. Like I was frustrated that I know I have so many resources that I should not be failing at this right now, and the fact that I'm failing at this right now is like it was making me mad. But you know, like I said, it's your mindset. It's how you look at it. And I was just like, dang, bro, like there are people with a tenth of what I have who are, you know, just as successful, you know. So it's like little lessons like that, or little ways of reframing your problems or situations, you know, via the mindset, the positive mindset framework, as every guru tries to say. You need a framework. You give your thing a name. So mine's the positive mindset framework. It's very interesting, and it's that simple, ladies and gentlemen. So, you know, whether you want to look at, like I said, the architecture behind me, and think about like, if you're a pessimist, you're like, oh, like they're gonna have to redo that facade, or, you know, there was some window cleaners on the CRST building the other day, and you know they'd be like, oh, it's gonna rain again, and then the windows are gonna be dirty. It's like you're choosing consciously or unconsciously to view the world from that negative view of things. And I would encourage you to see it from the other side. You know what I'm saying? And you do that by showing up consistently and trying. Okay, ask yourself this, and I've made a whole podcast episode about this, but this one question will unlock this mind frame for you. It'll unlock this mindset so that you can actually, do what you want to do in this world. And it's simply ask yourself why. Like for me, like, I cannot get my car cleaned because it's like, I know it's just gonna get dirty again. So it's like, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? But it's like, why do I believe that? Like why can't I have the positive joy for knowing that for 30 seconds until I hit a puddle, my car is clean and it's beautiful and I'm proud of that, Like, if your thing is like, you let's say you're a young guy, you ask a girl out on a date or whatever, like, like, ask yourself, like, why are you nervous? Why are you scared? Why are you actually thinking of these hypotheticals that simply don't exist in this current moment? And I'll give you some of the answers to this, but I want to ask you one more why question. It could be like I said, these politicians. Let's take JD Vance and his like I said, his talks last week in Pakistan with the Iranians and the Israelis and, other European and African country leaders. Like, why did those talks not go well? Why did we leave having just said words to each other and not making progress? Like when you look at it and you ask yourself why, you can start to, peel the layers back of the onion and actually see the true cause of this situation, the true cause of this problem. And then that allows you to make up your own goddamn mind about how you, want to react, okay? And like I said, well, I jokingly say you could do one of two things. You could do something or you could do nothing, but everything you do is something. Everything you do is political, okay? Everything you do says something about you and what you think and what you believe. And this is the point I'm trying to get to here. When you ask yourself why about, like, let's say that situation where these people don't want to agree to your terms, maybe you will start to see from their perspective why they don't want to make those concessions, because that hurts them in their economy and their people. Or maybe they don't want to accept it just because they don't want to give you the satisfaction of beating them and getting one over on them. Okay, think back to the girl and the guy asking the girl on the date, why did we get all worked up about these hypotheticals? Oh, she may say no, she's not gonna like this, maybe she's vegetarian and I just took her to a barbecue place. Like, why are you asking yourself this? Okay, why are you putting yourself in such a negative frame with these hypotheticals? So once you ask yourself why do I believe these things? What has happened to me previously? You can start to realize, dang, every girl I seem to like is a vegetarian and I like meat. So I need to, switch up who I'm into so that, or just ask them from the jump, are you vegetarian, lady? You know what I'm saying? Like, when you are more informed about how you act and how you respond to circumstances, you can think a little bit more critically about the situation as a whole and cater your response to get the dream outcome. In this case, like I said, it's taking the girl on a successful date because you don't make her your wife, or you trying to have a fun one night stand or whatever it may be. Okay, like, you asking yourself that question allows you to be honest, and it allows you to reframe this negative mindset about hypotheticals into a more positive, objective mindset, to where you can actually, facilitate the outcome you want. And lastly, I don't know what I was talking about, like, the architecture and like clean. Hey, geese, chill, bro. You can't see, they're off screen, but they fighting right now. Hey, chill. They don't mean it. Oh, they walking over here now. Okay. I ain't mean it either. Relax. Yeah. So back to the building in my car. about like keeping it clean. Like why, like ask yourself that question. Like, why do you think like, I guess like to frame this right, I was speaking about like people cleaning something that you know is going to get dirty and you being like, oh, it's not worth it. I have this belief with my own car, and I had to ask my own self this question: why do I feel like that? Why am I not allowing myself a few minutes of feeling proud of the stuff I have? You know, why am I not allowing myself a few moments to smile and be like, dang, bro, I did that. Like I feel good about what I've done in this world, because it has afforded me this lifestyle to where I could have a nice car that looks good when the sun shines on it. You know, like the whole thing I'm getting at here is like just change your mind, okay? Like being positive, seeing the positives in the world, in the situations, and the people around you it's all internally in your brain. I'm not even gonna be all philosophical, be like it's in your heart. No. For me, I can't speak about for you, but for me, I view it as a completely and utterly conscious behavioral change that anyone can make. It is very hard, but I decided to make this change almost 10 years ago to the day. And, you know, I'm 24 now, and I made this change when I was 15, where I was tired of seeing people like Trayvon Martin get shot by the police, people young like me just from existing in this world. And I had to ask myself that big question: why can't we all just get along? And through asking myself that question and answering, you know, it's because of racism, or because, you know, we're still the tribalistic primal humans of, you know, 100,000 years ago, who, if you don't look like me or speak like me or dress like me, then you're probably an other, and I need to eliminate you from the face of the earth, or at least put you over there with your kind, or whatever it may be. You know, it allowed me to see that the people that treat you wrong don't even know that they're treating you wrong. They haven't even thought about why they're doing what they're doing. They just do it because that's what you're supposed to do, okay? They just do it because that's what everyone else does. They just do it because that's the way it works. And I chose in that moment, you know, almost 10 years ago, a full decade ago, that I didn't want to live like that. And I choose not to live like that. And because I choose to not live like that, I am the positivity god. I try to think about the positives in the situations. Like I said, last week I was crashing out, but I still, even in the midst of crashing out, was thinking about my privileges and everything I have about this world, and just feeling grateful for, you know, just having a real true down moment, because I don't have a lot of those. My life is great. My life is a movie. My life is, you know, it's not the most spectacular thing ever, but I feel like I live a pretty above average existence on this earth, you know? And that also includes the down moments. And let me tell you firsthand, last week was it was an extraordinary down moment, to say the least. Moral of the story, before the sun comes back out and it ruins my exposure on the camera: go be the change you want to see in the world, and ask yourself the big questions. Why? Why do you believe the things you believe? Why do you think the things you think? Who taught you that? And what do you want to say about it? Okay, what do you have to think about it? How do you want to live your life? These are the big questions, in my opinion, that if you ask yourself them, they will allow you the freedom, time, energy, space, whatever it may be, to actually be your best self and achieve your own goddamn goals that you want to achieve. And for me, that's seeing the positives in negative situations. For me, that's feeling comfortable in my own skin, so that when I talk to other people, or that girl that I think is really pretty and I would love to take her out on a date, or I'm getting my car cleaned, or seeing someone clean something I know is gonna get dirty in 5 minutes, I can be like, I feel good about this. You know, I can see the upside of this. I can acknowledge the down. I'm not delusional, but I think it is worth it to take a leap of faith and just try it. And most importantly, take as much guesswork out of the equation as possible, because that is the only way you can achieve the highest forms of success. You know, if you can make it scientific rather than just a magic show, you know, where you're just kind of winging it, then cool beans, you know. At least you got a chance then. You're not always going to win. You're not going to hit all the shots, but at least you'll have a chance, and that's what matters. So with all that being said, thanks for coming to the main topic. Now let's get personal. Woo! ST hitting, I ain't gonna lie, but I want some pizza right now. That being said, it's like 38 degrees and I'm cold, so let's actually keep going. Last week, I made a podcast episode about being burnt out. It was an hour and 40 minutes, and believe it or not, the like 5 people that watched it on YouTube, like watched a decent amount. Like the average watch duration was like half an hour. So that's dope. You know, it's funny, you make a shorter episode, you get more views, but less view time. Make a longer episode about crashing out, you get less views, but they watch it for more than the more people watched it a little. So it's an interesting dynamic numbers wise, and I'm grateful to even be in that situation. Oh, here comes the sun. Wazam, my exposure's ruined. I'm not changing it. I don't care. It could be blown out. Oh, the sun's already going away. I should have brought gloves. It is really getting cold. This is a real authentic account. But like I was saying, last week I was crashing out, literally and figuratively, about being burnt out, about my life and my circumstances and my environment and all of these things and more. And essentially the conclusion I've come to a calendar week later, almost 168 hours later, you know, I don't know what that is in minutes, but it's been a week, okay, ladies and gentlemen, is that I think I need to express myself more. And I think that that was a very productive way of expressing myself. And more importantly, I think I need to create a friend that I see more regularly. And also, I think that above all else, that I'm on the right path to success. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I was deterred or felt any type of really big opposition or anything in terms of who I am as a person or what I'm trying to do with my business or my life. It just was one of those moments where, as I said in that episode, man, I'm tired, bro. I'm not gonna be one of these people out here that are trying to sell you short on like what it is to actually like try and chase your dreams, goals, and aspirations. Like, it's a lot. You're gonna have ups, you're gonna have downs, and that was a real down moment, and I decided to share it with the world. Where I was tired, I wasn't sleeping well. You know what I'm saying? I was hungry because I was trying to eat a little less. You know what I'm saying? I was frustrated because of, you know, a variety of situations that just weren't going my way at the point in time, and they had continued to not go my way for, you know, time and time again. And it got so bad that like Monday, the next day after, because, you know, I record these on Sunday, post these on Sunday as well, I ended up posting that podcast at like 9 p.m. Central time or something like that. So it went up really late. It took a while to upload. My internet was slow that day. Glad I have internet though, you know? So it got there eventually, and I knew it was gonna take a while to upload because it was like a 50 megabyte or 50 gigabyte video. It was huge. And yeah, I just had to like be really real with myself and say like, hey bro, like, it's okay. And as I was like saying this in my head, as I'm listening to the podcast on Spotify, as I'm driving the bus, you know, and everything, I quite literally crashed the bus. And because, you know, like I said, the sleep deprivation, the me being distracted about my own thoughts and how I'm going to move forward in life and everything, like it was insane. Like, everyone's fine. It was a very, very minor little fender bender. And yeah, like less than $1,000 of damage. Like, it's a little bumper respray. We're good to go. And it was like in that moment, like I just fully snapped back out of this like loop that I was in, where I just wasn't feeling myself. I wasn't necessarily like talking down to myself, but I wasn't like acknowledging like all of the work I've put in to even get to where I'm at right now. Like, the fact that I felt like I was a failure, or that like things just weren't going my way, like I've said it before and I'll say it again, that just means I'm actually fucking trying, okay? And I say that because it means something. Like that means something. Like if you don't, like, life is going to be hard regardless. And what I was experiencing in that circumstance in particular was I was actually attempting to try. I was actually trying, more than I have tried previously, and it just wasn't working, and it was really getting to me. And I just had to express that. I did, and I'm better now. You know what I'm saying? Over this last week, I've consumed less content like I said I would and tried to produce more. I just finished a hour and 45-minute podcast for a nonprofit client, and we're on track to get that uploaded here soon. And then this next week, we're going to be making the clips. There's like 20 segments that are like 5 to 20 minutes long that we can repost. And then from those segments, we're going to make like short form clips, that are more like high budget, putting B-roll and the photos and pictures and everything on it in the background. And it's a beautiful thing, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, with my personal life, I went to the gym, I worked out, I ate some food, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing all right. And it's okay to not be okay, but sometimes, you just gotta acknowledge the elephant in the room and take a break. And I did that. There was a day in there where it's like I literally, this was Friday. I just worked all day. Like literally, I drove the bus all day, and my phone died. And I charged it, but I didn't turn it on. I had my phone turned off for 16 hours, driving, from city to city, driving around my own city here, just experiencing life, experiencing a lower, I won't say quality of life, but less stimulation. I don't have a GPS or a map, so I have to use my brain to figure out where I'm going. I don't have people calling and texting me or emails to respond to, so I could take care of myself, and that was very important. So I say all that to say that, like, yeah, man, you got to take care of yourself. You got to take your mental health very serious. And last week, there was a moment where, I just was acknowledging that. And this last, 6 days post that episode, oh, it's a duck, whack, whack. I took the steps necessary to actually facilitate that. And I feel great. I feel really good about life. I feel really good about myself. I feel really good about, my business endeavors and communication with people. I finally responded to all of the emails and responded to the people on Yelp. And, I'm slowly getting back on the horse, you know what I'm saying? But we're making progress, and it's a beautiful thing. So that's your Let's Get Personal. Thanks for listening to that. And now it's time for some wisdom from an OG. Oh, Lord. My finger is so cold, it wasn't even being recognized by my fingerprint sensor. But today's wisdom from an OG actually comes from the Iowa football program. And there's a quote, like there's a name to this attached to this quote, but I'm telling you, in the screenshot I got this from, I can't see it. So I just know it's from the Iowa football program, and it was in someone's like locker in the Iowa football locker room. And the quote says simply, "Do the simple shit better than everyone else." This is very important, ladies and gentlemen, because that's all I've been talking about today. I've been talking about your mindset and how you view the world. It can be very complex, but it can be very simple as well. It's how you do your job. Me driving a bus, talking to this camera, now you being a engineer, a veterinarian, a truck driver, whatever it may be. Do the simple shit better than everyone else, okay? And you will see success. It is truly that simple. Show up on time. Help people how you would want to be helped. I'm not saying you need to overextend yourself and do too much. Have boundaries. I think that's another simple thing that, you should do better than everyone else, because people who don't have boundaries aren't living the best of the best lives. If you want kids, act accordingly. Do the simple shit right. If you want to build one of these tall buildings like the people, titans of industry, like the CRST, CEO John Smith, who lives in Cedar Rapids here, building his, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13-ish story building in downtown Cedar Rapids, then, hey, do the simple shit right. treat people how you would want to be treated. Make sure you show up and show out when the time comes, and you do the basics well. And I think that's enough said, because I've said the same thing like 50 times without saying much. And yeah, I'm cold and distracted. So just remember, wisdom from the Iowa football program: do the simple shit well, do the simple shit better than everyone else, and you'll go far. I believe in you. And let's talk about next week's topic, okay? Something I did think about over this last week is how I need to post more on this podcast. And more importantly, someone had brought up in a video I did consume, find ways to create content that are not taxing to you in any way, or in the least way, like the least amount of tax it places on your brain, body, or whatever. I butchered saying that, but essentially what I was saying is find easy ways to make content. And if you remember, I was crashing out and I was burnt out, and I still made an almost 2-hour long podcast and still got it edited and published in the same day. Obviously, this podcast is something that is pretty routine. It's something that is pretty easy for me to do and facilitate, and it's something that I want to continue to do going forward. All that being said, I want to actually get back to where I was posting 2 podcasts a week, and I want to do that on Wednesdays, having like a business-focused podcast, and then on Sundays are the positive, like the keynote Positivity Hour podcast. So I'm not sure if I'm going to start a new podcast, or if I'm just going to do what I said like 10 podcasts ago, and like split the cover and be like, one's like the color, like one, and the other is like black and yellow or whatever, and that's like, I'll call that like let's get down to business is what I'm thinking I'm going to call the Wednesday podcast. And I don't know. I say all that to say it's a work in progress, but next week I'm not going to post it, but I'm going to, facilitate the back end planning, and probably within the next 2 weeks, or definitely sometime in May, I want to test this idea out and just post and see what it looks like, and just, build this up, make this a reality, because I said I should do it. And I think that's a great way to have some good self-esteem for yourself, is when you say something, do it. And I've seen a lot of success in that, so I'm going to continue to do that. The other thing I wanted to talk about, which is in my notes, and I don't have my notes. I don't know what I was going to say for the second thing, but just know we're posted regardless, okay? I'll put it on the screen or something if it's profound, or if I decide to keep you on edge, then I'll save it for next week. So just know I'm going to be showing up. I hope to see you there. And for your outro, I appreciate you, okay? I love it, appreciate you. Thanks for sticking with the brother. Thanks for being here. Thanks for showing up and showing out. Thanks for being one of a kind. Thanks for being you. Truly. I know the camera's overexposed, and this is my second attempt at being out here and recording this podcast, and really just facing the adversity of trying to, make the pictures and images and the thoughts I have in my brain a reality. And I hope that you can take something from this podcast episode, apply it to your life, and most importantly, see positive change. See change that is, moving you closer to your goals and the lifestyle you want to live. So thank you for coming into my world today, and I appreciate you. Like I said, I love you, and I hope you make this upcoming week count. That's all I got for you today. So make sure you like, subscribe, unsubscribe, positive comment, hate comment, share or report. I don't really care what you do. Just stay positive, get the bread, and it's going to be amazing. Make today count, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else in between and outside those binary metrics. So I'm out, Faded Black, and I'll see you around. Woo! Oh, also, the new music's been coming out, and I got the album coming out next Friday. It's actually been submitted to all of the stores for like a week or two now. So in theory, it actually will be in like Spotify and Apple and everything right at midnight Eastern time, 11 p.m. CST. So it's a beautiful thing, and thank you for your support on the music journey. More music coming soon. Like the burnt out freestyle, I'll give y'all a snippet right now.
The other day I was just like reflecting on life or whatever, and I realized I was burnt the hell out, bro. Like, what the helly?
Is the mic on?
So I want to make a little song. I want to get into it. This is the burnt out freestyle, baby. STP, GTP, C2 Rappers 319, we litty. You already know the vibe, so let's get into it. Yeah!
I got unrealistic high standards. Yes, sir. A wise man said ignorance is bliss. Woo. Yeah. The more you learn, it'll bring you fame. Hey, you know the vibe, bro. Don't move right in and make it shoot your brain. Learn to recognize the signs, bro. You gone crazy, you working hard, one day it'll happen, but it's time for change. Yeah. That's crazy, bro. You gone crazy, you working hard, one day it'll happen, but it's time for change. Yeah, it's time to change your life right now. We ain't got tomorrow, you woke up today. Come on, brother, we gon' fix your frown. Hey, you know the vibe. You not gon' make it if you keep spinning your wheels. So take a step back, you gon' think it's whack, but it's really time to chill. Crazy thing is, when you chill out, you can actually look objectively about what's going on in your life that's causing you this disruption. For me, it was 5 main things. Let's get into it. From social media and the politics. Hello, governor. Yeah. The day job and some business shit. Yeah. Can't forget about my personal life, gang. I was thinking a lot, not acting much. Damn, I really felt lame. Yeah. That was in my head, yeah, now I'm action. I took a step back and realized that I was overreacting. Hey, chill, Darshaun. I took a step back and realized that I was overreacting. No, but like seriously, on a very real note, like take your mental health serious. Like this last week or two of my life, it's like April 18th, 17th right now as of recording this part right here. Like, have been really difficult for me personally. I've been going through a lot. I've been trying, as I've been saying, and I've come up with, faced with a lot of adversity. And the only thing that's been getting me through it all is just understanding that this is the part of the process. This is the part of the journey. If you want to be anything of substance, it ain't gonna be easy. And you get to choose how you react to it. I choose to keep showing up, and that's what we're about to talk about when I get back to rapping here soon. So take care of yourself. I love you, and thanks for listening. Now let's get back to it. Yeah. In life, we all face the same problems. Yes, sir. The only difference out there is how you choose to react to it. Woo! You can focus on the journey of the destination. Gotta work hard, but work smarter. Yes, sir. Yeah, one day you'll thank me. Working harder is working smarter, gang. You get to choose your battles. What is gonna bring you fame? I recommend you make a not to-do list. I did this myself. It brought me clarity. This is true shit. No, but like seriously, this is like the last me talking on the beat section. It's my G Herbo impression. Address the elephant in the room. Like, if you're not okay, if a situation's got you all the way fucked up and misconstrued, like, you need to acknowledge it, document it, and chart the path forward. Otherwise, you're gonna be stuck in a trauma loop, and we ain't doing that anymore. I got unrealistic high standards. Yes, sir. A wise man said ignorance is bliss. Woo. Yeah. The more you learn, it'll bring you fame. Hey, you know the vibe, bro. Don't move right in and make it shoot your brain. Learn to recognize the signs, bro. You gone crazy, you working hard, one day it'll happen, but it's time for change. Yeah. That's crazy, bro. You gone crazy, you working hard, one day it'll happen, but it's time for change. Hey, y'all know the vibe, man. STP, GTP, C2 Rappers 319, we litty, bro. Go take care of yourself and your mental health, man. Check in on your friends, give them a call, and say what's up to your mama for me. Them dogs outside, bro.
If you see these dogs in your front yard, just know upstairs I'm going hard. Bing bong.
I'm in my G'd up zone. I'm about to get it in, kick your feet up, home. Days turn to weeks when you're always on the grind all night. I got my re-up back. I'm about to get it in, I'll be right back.
Nate, high lows to those who don't know the name. And G'd up, yup, that's the only thing I claim.